everybody, it's Erica here, and I wanted to update you on the Kickstarter campaign and also do a read-along for you so that you can see our first book read-along. You'll be the first ones ever to see any of the books in this way, especially because we just got a new update of graphics, so you'll be the first ones to see those. So just to give you a recap, oh, and also, before I do that, I want to say thank you for everyone who has backed us. We have now officially hit over 30% of our goal. We're about 1/3 backed, so yay! Thank you all. We are 3 days into our campaign with 27 days more to go, and we are just super grateful for everybody who's backed us, and we've received so many emails and messages, and it's been super and so cool. So if you are just learning about the Entrepreneur Kid book series, I want to show you our books. I have them all here. It's a little more difficult without Lee, the illustrator, because I have to hold them all. So let's see what I can do here. So we have Jason saves the world saves the environment. This is an old one with entrepreneurship. Rachel turns her passion into a business. Sebastian creates a sock company, and Gabby invents the perfect hair bow. All of these kids have amazing stories, and I'm so honored and happy that I got to tell them in this form. And so I want to share one of them with you, and throughout the next week or so, I will read all 4 to you so that you can get a preview. And if you are excited about this project, if you want to help kids be able to learn about entrepreneurship at a very young age, and also to teach how to think creatively and how to solve problems at a young age with examples of kids their age, then definitely back our Kickstarter. And yay, Lee is here. Woohoo! I'm so happy. So Lee, the illustrator, is actually in the comments. If you have any questions while I'm reading about Jason's book or the project in general, maybe just ask them there and Lee will answer your questions. Yay! Okay, so we have Jason saves the environment with entrepreneurship. I'm going to, so before we get started, you should know that we created this kind of book. It's called a dummy book, and we learned that through this project. In the publishing industry, you can create these books. They're just simply printed. In this case, the cover actually comes off. So I'm going to put that down and begin the book. Jason saves the environment with entrepreneurship. Jason Lee and his family moved to the United States when he was just 4 years old. When he first arrived, everyday life was confusing. Everyone around him spoke English, but he only spoke Chinese. He would use his big red dictionary to look up words he had never heard. You can see his mom here. They would read their dictionary together. I thought that was a really cool part of his story when I interviewed him. As he grew, Jason realized he wanted to give back to his parents for giving him all he needed. "I want to figure out how to make at least $3 a day," he told his parents one day as they planted trees at the local park. "That way, I can pay for my own lunch." Little did Jason know, he would grow up to learn not only the language of the country, but also how to build a business and give back to his community. Oh, Bruno says he can relate to Jason. He started learning English at 7. That's awesome. So that was one of the things I wanted to do. I want these books to be relatable of kids from all backgrounds. And so Jason is a great story for anyone who is a English language learner as a kid. I think that that's a really relatable point. So thank you for commenting, Bruno. Jason thought of many ideas of how to earn his lunch money. First, he drew comic strips and sold them to his friends. But drawing was tough, and he didn't feel that art was his specialty. Then he started a clothing line. He asked his classmates if they would buy t-shirts with funny sayings on them. Everyone thought it was a great idea. After he printed his shirts, though, no one bought them. He had borrowed money from his parents for these shirts, so he felt extra bad that the business didn't work. Uh-oh. Jason's in some deep water now. He's borrowing money and not paying it back to his parents. In middle school, Jason noticed that his friends started using cell phones. Some of his classmates even got new ones every year. Jason wondered, where do all the old electronics go when people get new ones? In his world geography class, Jason learned that many phone parts harm the environment and can't be recycled. Those parts are sent to countries like China and Ghana, where they destroy land and water streams, making life hard for locals. Jason credits e-waste in learnings of e-waste as one of his inspirations for starting his company, which you will learn about soon. Jason remembered his childhood in China and was shocked. He wondered if people knew the harm their phones were creating for others far, far away. And that year, he got his first music player. His parents were excited to surprise him with it, but within 2 weeks, he dropped it and broke the screen. Jason felt horrible. I know I would. My parents would be a little bit angry. Jason didn't want his parents to know he had ruined it, so he researched how to fix broken music players. He found lots of resources and bought the ones he needed. So he told us that he looked online and found these screens and found a replacement kit, got it in. I did it, he exclaimed one day. With his new tools, Jason fixed his music player. Disaster averted. Nice job, Jason. Very proud of you. It's a pretty cool story. All right. Jason's classmates were impressed. Kids from all over campus asked him to fix their phones. Apparently, a lot of kids were breaking their screens. Hey, I have a business here, Jason thought. Maybe I could find more people who need my help. Jason posted ads everywhere. People from all over town called him. They liked the idea of recycling their phones. Jason would buy, repair, and resell the phones. He was saving the environment while also making money. He started paying for his own lunches at school. All right, making some progress here. Some of Jason's closest friends helped him promote his business by handing out flyers at the mall and across town. Another helped him build a website for the business that made it easier for people all across the world to send in their old electronics. You can see that one here. 2 more friends helped him make a video that explains how the website works. With that video, they won a national teen business competition. Jason was grateful that his friends were so supportive. Jason's parents were a big inspiration while he was starting his business too. His dad drove him everywhere, for business meetings and speaking events. He was more than a dad on those drives. He was a business advisor. His mom started a business that year too. She was a Chinese teacher and decided to open her own Chinese school. When Jason went to bed, his mom was always awake, making plans for the school. And when he woke up, she was always there making breakfast and sending him off to school. He was certain that she had superpowers. Not everyone supported Jason's creativity, though. One of his classmates told him every day that he'd never be a success. Some parents even thought his goals were too ambitious. They were right that it was tough to be a student while starting a business, but Jason wanted to prove that he could do it. Over here you see one of his friends is asking him, "Hey Jason, let's go to the movies tonight." And Jason says, "I can't. I have phones to mail out." Got a little businessman here. He's got stuff to do. And he did. One eventful day, Jason was on a popular TV show where real investors give promising entrepreneurs money to grow their businesses. All of the other business owners on the show were much older than Jason. He was worried that he was too young to impress the investors. "Don't worry, kid," the producer told him. "That's what makes you stand out. Be yourself." That was exactly what he needed to hear. I don't know why I gave him a New York accent, but I just imagine that. The investors loved his idea, and that he had started his business while so young. They invested. From then on, Jason started to embrace himself as he was. You can see over here, we have Barbara Corcoran saying, "I'll invest." And Mark Cuban saying, I'm in too. So these are real investors that Jason has. That year, Jason learned that he had inspired some of his classmates to start their own businesses. Vivian designed personalized notebooks, Cody started a graphic design company, and Kristen founded a photography business. He also got into college to continue his education and hired 3 people to keep his business running while he was at school. And this is true to life, where Jason is currently studying at the University of Chicago, and he does have 3 employees who run his business from his home office. Jason now helps other kids become entrepreneurs. He visits local high schools to teach, and his high school back home has a special class for kids who want to start businesses like he did. In college, Jason even started a program that trains his classmates how to start businesses. He started an accelerator at the University of Chicago. All right, kids, we're winding down here. Jason's company helps the environment while also helping pay for his education. He never has to ask his parents for lunch money again. In fact, sometimes he even treats his mom and dad to lunch. Jason says his key to success is embracing who he really is. He didn't know how to speak English when he arrived in the United States, and he knew nothing about business, but he learned along the way. You can too. Don't be afraid to embrace who you really are. You can do anything you put your mind to, Jason says. Now it's your turn. What problems do you want to solve in the world? The end, or just the beginning. So that, my friends, is Jason Saves the Environment with Entrepreneurship, one of the Entrepreneur Kid books in the series. You can check all of them out on Kickstarter, and over the next week or so, thanks for all those likes. Over the next week or so, we'll be reading the other books as well, so you can get an idea of what the other story is about. I really enjoy Jason's story because it teaches a few things. One is that failure is okay. You might have noticed that he created the comic book business, and then he created the t-shirt business, and those did not work out. Thank you, Adam. Adam says, great book. Thank you for listening, and I'm happy to have read it. He had created those businesses like the comic books and the t-shirts, and those didn't work out, and I love that he just kept going. And I think that's a great lesson for young readers, is to understand that you can make mistakes, and eventually you can learn from those mistakes and do something really great, like Jason did. Another thing I love about his story is that he is the only kid in our series who is an immigrant. He came here from China to the United States when he was 4 years old, and he, like many Americans, will and like many business owners too, he's come from such a humble background and had to learn so many things to get to where he is. And I hope that resonates with other kids who may not have been born in the United States. For example, if there are lots of children's books out there, but you don't often hear the stories of awesome immigrants who have created amazing businesses. And then finally, a great lesson I love is that family can really help you out, and they are such a supportive factor in Jason's story. So I like that aspect of his story as well, and I think that it will help kids understand that you don't have to be some kind of superhero in order to solve a problem. You can actually lean on those around you. So does anyone have any questions since we're on here? I can take you, we've been getting a whole bunch of questions. One is how much is this a true-to-life story? Like there's a lot that goes on in the book, but how much of it is actually true? So these are all nonfiction stories. So they're all based on facts. And even in the back of the books, you didn't see this when I read it, but I created an author's note where it has real photos of Jason. So you can see, for example, in this image, he is actually with 2 of his friends, and you'll see this friend, I believe, the friend in the striped shirt, he's actually featured in the book in a number of places, and so we've actually tried to gather as much research on all of his actual friends. Oh, great, Bruno said he had Totally forgotten it was a true story. Yes, all of these are true stories. So I'm glad that that's a question people ask. Here's a picture of at the top here of Jason pitching on Shark Tank, and he actually received a $100,000 investment from Barbara Corcoran and Mark Cuban. So that's all true. That would be a really strange thing for me to write in a children's book. I'm sure like no kid would understand what that was. If I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably throw this in if it was a fictional book. So that's real. And then also down here, you'll see this is a picture from our visit. You can see that Jason is there. He's now 20 years old, and he's in the University of Chicago. He's about to graduate this semester. That's his sister and his parents, and they're actually holding the book. This photo was taken by Dan, who's on our team, and who's my fiance also, while we were on our trips. We visited all 4 of the entrepreneur kids in this series. And Jason is from Los Gatos, California. So we went out there. He actually flew in from the University of Chicago on his Christmas break. So we were one of the first stops on his Christmas break. All right, Daniela says, would you consider including some of those takeaway points you just mentioned about the story with the books? Oh yeah, that's a great idea. May help resonate the life lessons parents or teachers may want to share. I love that idea. Actually, let me pull out something I have over here. I want to do, so I have, if you haven't heard of this, I'm going to recommend something for the parents or teachers out there. Sorry, I'm not grabbing around. So I subscribe to this. It's called Windows and Mirrors Book Bundle, WHAM Book Bundle. And I'm actually very inspired by what they do. They send out 2 to 3 books a month, and they have different types of bundles you can get, either just a parent, a educator, and there's some other ones. I got the educator one, and they have this really incredible lesson plan. It's a 1-page lesson plan, and I would like to do something similar. Sorry, I'm trying to find where I put my lesson plans. But essentially, they have a 1-page lesson plan where it has questions you can ask kids. And I really want to see it. Let's see. Probably right here. Maybe this one. Could be. Nope, not that one. By the way, I have a really large collection of books now. Let me see. This is only some of them, but I have so many children's books over here, so you can look while I'm looking, actually. So is it this one? No. Oh, it might be in here, actually. Oh, yeah, I think it's in here. Ah, it is. Good. Okay. So I can put this back for a second. So one of the books that I got in my WHAM bundle was My Story, My Dance. It's about a dancer in Alvin Ailey, the dance group in New York, and some of you may be familiar. And in it, it has this educator activity guide. And so I'm definitely taking some inspiration from this. They have the Common Core standards for the educators out there before, during, and after reading. And so they have different questions. That's definitely something I want to do. And right now we won't have it in the books, but on entrepreneurkid.com, we're going to start creating resources for parents and teachers so that they can teach these, or if you're a parent and you're reading it, you can kind of have some questions ready for your kids to be able to prompt those. Awesome idea. I love that. Ah, yay! Daniela says, perfect lesson plan idea. Thank you. I love that. Yes, definitely send me an email. All right. Bruno says, along with what Daniela said, are there additional resources such as teachers' guides that could go with the book? I'm sure teachers could use help making a lesson plan. Yes. So for the next few weeks, we're not going to have a lot of time to create those, but we are starting, and this is actually news. We haven't actually said it out loud, but we haven't announced it yet. But we're actually also producing this series in Mandarin. So Lee is from China originally. She speaks, obviously, Mandarin. And we've been working with the University of Central Arkansas Confucius Institute to translate these books into Mandarin. And so they're going to be a bilingual English and Mandarin book. And we're doing a 2-week tour in China in May where we're actually going to be talking to mostly students and parents. And as a part of that, we've decided that we want to bring along some sort of lesson plan or worksheet. So we're going to have to create that for that. And then we're going to translate it back into English for our Kickstarter audience and everyone that's here. So I love that idea. And I definitely feel the same way. I've been speaking to a number of parents, lots of parents, and they have similar questions about They love the stories, they love that they're real and that they can inspire their kid, but what do you do after the book? When you read the book and it asks the kid, it very clearly, every book has that same question, because I wanted to get kids excited and starting to do something, because I think we ask kids too often, what do you want to be when you grow up? When we should really be asking them, what kind of problems do you want to solve, or what do you like doing right now? So it always ends, oh, I'm about to drop my book. It always ends with, now it's your turn. What problem do you want to solve in the world? So I definitely believe we need to start putting those resources together. So if you haven't already backed the campaign, we would love your support. You can check it out on Kickstarter. It's called Entrepreneur Kid, and there's a link. There's a link in this, what do you call it? Description? Yes, there's a link in the description, and I will be answering questions on the comment thread, and maybe Lee will be there as well. I really appreciate you all tuning in to hear the reading, and next week I will be reading the other books. I might read 2 next week and the following the next week, but stay tuned for Gabby Invents the Perfect Hair Bow. It's about Gabrielle Goodwin. She actually has a patent on her bow, and once again, these are real stories. And Sebastian creates a sock company. It's about Sebastian Martinez and his brother Brandon Martinez in Miami. They have a company called Are You Kidding? And they design their own wacky socks. Some of them actually are charity socks. They're in partnership with charities where they donate a percentage of proceeds to those causes. We have Rachel Turns Her Passion into a Business. It's about Rachel Zeitz. She is the founder and CEO of Gladiator Lacrosse out of Boca Raton, Florida, and she makes lacrosse equipment like rebounders and goals. And I love her story because she actually took a class at her local Chamber of Commerce to learn the concepts of the various different things you need to do to start a business, and then she founded the business right outside of that class. And finally, you've already read with me Jason Saves the Environment with Entrepreneurship, so you can always tune in back into this at any point. It has been, oh, Bruno is from Boca. Man, this entire series is for you then. You started learning English when you're 7, you're from Boca Raton, so I wonder if you have anything in common with the other 2 entrepreneurs as well. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but if you have questions, I'm always here. So I'll see you on the internet, the rest of the internet. Bye!